All right. We are live, I think. Let's see.
Should I check on my phone?
Yeah, I have it on my computer here. All right, testing. All right, I think we're good.
Hey.
All right. Hey, everyone. Ryan from E-Bike Escape here with my friend Brian and BC Kowalski.
Yeah.
And
Otherwise, Frugal BC on YouTube.
and we're I like to do whenever I get an e-bike, it's just fun to do. I have to unbox it, so I might as well do it with some people viewing, and I'm also happy to answer questions. So it's just a good time to ask me about this bike, although I obviously haven't even had it out of the box, but obviously have, Brian actually has been doing a lot of writing for E-Bike Escape, so I think you actually wrote this.
I did write one about this, yeah.
Yeah,
so
so
I'm
he-
excited to see it now.
So he's familiar as well, and thought it'd be, good to hang out, and we have to do this anyway, so might as well have a couple beers and unbox an e-bike. If you are watching this now or watching the recording, if you are looking to purchase this and find anything that I put out helpful, please consider using the link to purchase an Lectric e-bike before you make your purchase, and that helps support the channel, and thanks in advance. We also have our electric bike accessories list, our top e-bike brands page, and our electric bike discounts code page that I continue to update. So those are all really great resources for you to check out, and those links within also support the channel. So Luke asked, who is your guest? So this is Brian, BC Kowalski. He has done some writing on E-Bike Escape for me, and so he said, hey, want to hang out tonight? I said, yep, let's do it. Unbox the e-bike.
And check me out on YouTube also, Frugal BC.
All right, so let's pop this open. So actually, it just arrived today, and I should note, I think Lectric is working on this, but when they send their tracking information, if you order multiple items, it actually doesn't tell you what is in the shipment. So I actually thought that the bike was going to arrive like last week, I think it was, and then like this tiny box showed up, and it was just the light, the premium headlight that I ordered.
It folds up very small, but not that small.
Yeah. So that was kind of funny, and then today I pretty much figured, because this was coming USPS, and I was like, that seems odd that the bike would be able to be shipped USPS, so it makes more sense that it came FedEx. And then also the thing to note, and I don't know if Lectric will be doing this long term or anything, but they did send the battery separate to the bike, and I don't know if that's a efficiency so they could get it out to you, or if they always send the batteries separately.
Are there special rules on shipping batteries like that?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think there's some like labels they have to
But
put
probably
on.
all your other bikes came with batteries.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So we got the battery already.
so it's kind of funky looking at it normally.
Yeah, well, it
Very
goes
typical, I think.
it goes into the frame, like
Yeah,
slides
inside, yeah.
in completely, so you actually don't see the branding or anything. But it's a nice compact battery and stuff. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions, let me know about anything. Happy to answer them. That's really why I do this. A lot of people email me, and it's challenging for me to respond to everyone. So this is like a good time for people to ask me questions. Actually, let's just pull it up. So the nice thing is this is a shorter but wider box than a typical electric bike, and this video might actually be pretty short because it should be mostly assembled. We'll see, because it comes folded, so I don't even know the best spot to grab. The seat here.
I'm excited about this because I've always thought the Bromptons were really cool. One of my friends in Stevens Point had a Brompton. It was just it really caught attention because when you unfold it, it just all unfolds into one piece. Like it's like you almost just kind of flip it, and it's like.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one's gonna do that.
Yeah, and then we did have a Brompton sent to us last year, And so we did a review on the Brompton Electric. So, and just so you know, I have the camera like pointed short, so they'll actually not see your face. Yeah. We're limited here. And I should note the funny thing is, so a lot of e-bike brands put TVs on their box, and like Lectric, I mean, not surprising that they would do, but they did like a retro TV, which is kind of funny. And then on the top it says channeling good vibes, and it has like an on-off, like an old school television dial. So just something a little bit more unique.
So a lot of them have a TV on the box?
Yeah, because, and they do it because they want people to think that they're fragile. So they'll supposedly treat it better if it has a TV on the box.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, a lot of companies, I would say, like Rad Power Bikes doesn't, they did their own like custom design work, but then like Ride One Up does, and a few other brands that I've received. Now let's maybe pop open the accessories, and we'll just slide this back. Yeah, this is a pretty, I mean, it's heavy. It says, I think like 34, it says gross weight 34 kilograms on the box. I don't know exactly how much it's supposed to weigh, and the full review will weigh it. I think that's 70, like 4 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, well, just a little under 75.
Yeah, 75 pounds. I don't think the bike is supposed to be quite that heavy, so that obviously includes the charger and stuff. So I'm assuming that's what this is, since it says charger right on it. All right, owner's manual. I don't know, doesn't look like anything. Looks like pretty in depth. I mean, the thing is, so Lectric only sells really like one model. It's the Lectric XP, and the first generation came out last year. It was priced, I think, at, was it $7.99 or $8.99 originally? Anyway, it was like super affordable, like, and they kind of made a name for themselves as like the affordable electric bike, like under $1,000 that actually is decent enough quality where a lot of people are purchasing it and happy with it.
To put that in context, with Bromptons, the folding bike that are not electric start in the thousands.
Yeah, and I think the Brompton Electric is like 3,000 or something. But it was
it's really expensive.
It was fun to try that out. But the thing is, like the Bromptons, at least compared to something like this, like the Bromptons are so light, the battery capacity is even lower than this. So like that's really a lot better for like someone who's taking it on a train. Like the lightweight is a huge factor. Whereas like this, I feel like fits a really nice sweet spot, because if you don't have a hitch, or even a hitch that can handle the weight of an electric bike, a lot of people put this in like a plastic tub, and then they can put the whole tub, because it's like harder to grab that. You can just grab a tub and put it in your vehicle. And so like these are really popular with people who go camping and just traveling just generally. And that actually might, I mean, this is actually a bike that we had to purchase, so that's why I definitely appreciate your support. Like this Lectric did not send this to me, so I really wanted to do a review, and that was the only way I could really make it work.
So remind me, how much does this one cost, Brad?
It's $9.99, and then the premium headlight is $49, which is a little steep when you consider that such a low price point for the bike. And then
that's crazy for a folding bike, though.
Yes,
like that's crazy cheap for a folding electric bike.
Yeah, and we did, I think in the article that you wrote talking about this, I added a little section that compared this to the Rad Mini step through, which is now, I think it's $12.99. So like it's competing kind of, a few $100s more, has a bigger battery. And actually someone had emailed me somewhat recently and said, hey, like what would you consider, because that's also a folding bike, that's also step through. And I should mention, as I was looking online when I was picking this out, we actually went with the step through, because I think it is I mean they're very similar. I don't think the accessibility is a huge difference, but one of the nice things, or at least from aesthetically, on the non-step through version, the cranks are just kind of like hanging out down there, whereas like the step through, it looks like more like a cleaner look, at least in my opinion. And this is obviously the black one. So
it seems to be the electric branding on the the hub motor, rear hub motor, but is that a Bafang? Is that what that feeds?
I don't know if they actually say what motor it is. There's a lot of companies these days that are just putting in buying whatever motor and then they just throw their branding on it. And you don't really know unless you reach out to the company, and some are probably more willing to give that information. I was just gonna take a peek, and the other, so like in that article we definitely covered some of the differences. I was trying to remember some of them, but this is IP65 rated. So like when people ask about like water resistance and stuff, that's different. I know the tires are not as wide. They're going to be 3-inch wide tires. We'll get into some of that as well. But the other big thing was now they have a suspension fork on this, as we'll talk about. So here's the charger that you get. It's a D-Power one. It's like a generic charger actually. The last unboxing I did with the eSpin, same exact charger. So many brands are using them. I think that was it in the box then, just the charger. You already have the battery, so let's start cracking this open. Make sure we have no questions again. I have one if we need one. Yeah, well, yeah, so it's just seem. No.
Alright, I'll let you do it then.
So these side snips, I always talk about it when I unbox bikes. These get a lot of use, although I did recently learn that Harbor Freight has like flat cutters like this, which are a lot smaller, but one of the nice things if you're like doing some cable management on your electric bike, like see how these are angled? The nice thing is those are flat, so you get a nice clean cut when you're cutting zip ties. Obviously when you're unpacking a bike, it's not a big deal. And then the other thing that we do have coming is I did buy the front and rear rack, the cargo racks and stuff. Or the baskets, I should say. It already comes with a rear rack
I'm
on
gonna
it.
start out if I'm not a fan of those wide seats, because a lot of people think these are more comfortable, but you end up getting more rub on these over longer trips.
I feel like it depends on maybe the generation, because like my parents really love their wide like Cloud 9 seats, but I think there's a happy medium. Like we have a little bit wider one on our Red Wagon, but it's not like, you know, it's just a little bit bigger than a normal seat. But yeah, that's I think personal preference. But good point. Like it's really hard when you recommend seats because people have different opinions and different body shapes and sizes, and so it kind of depends on.
I'm impressed that they fit a shock fork on here too.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously with a $1,000 electric bike, you're not going to get anything that's, the components, they only can put so much on it. But I feel like Lectric is kind of known for putting, a fair amount into a bike.
I'm always happy when I see Shimano stuff on. That's usually a good sign. Even the lower end Shimano usually works pretty well.
Yeah. In fact, I just today I was doing some work on the eSpin bike, that review I still have to get out, and that has a stride shifter. I had never heard of it, so I had to do some adjusting on it. And actually, it seemed fun. I could not find a whole lot of information about that brand at all. I don't know.
Stride was the brand.
Yeah, it was a brand, and then it said RD 310 or something like that, and I recognized the numbers. It's like the same exact model number as a Shimano. They have a whatever it was, RD 310 derailleur. So I don't know if they're like a copycat or what, but the crazy thing these days is with components, companies are kind of having to there's bikes, electric bikes that you'll buy today, and if you buy it at a different time and your friend has one, you might not get the exact same components just because they don't have stock. And the other thing that I look for here, immediately when you unbox an electric bike, and this one looks fine, but these derailleur guards often cause more stress because a lot of times they'll get damaged in shipping, and so they'll get bent towards the derailleur, and you're trying to shift, and the shifter shifts into the guard, but you don't realize that it's the guard that was bent. It's nothing wrong with the derailleur.
Why isn't it shifting?
Exactly. You're not getting into the highest gear, which you actually, a lot of people, us included, use that gear quite a bit. What is
Even the
this?
pedals fold.
Yeah, the pedals fold.
That's wild.
They have a pre-ride safety checklist on here. You want to see if there's anything interesting on there?
Yeah, I will.
Again, if you're just joining us, feel free to ask any questions. Happy to answer anything as we undo all these zip ties.
Turn on the lights, especially if riding at night.
Yes, that
So
is.
like in the day too. That implies.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I think I mentioned it in so many videos, but the front lights are just they help you be seen, but they're not great as a standalone light. How much is the bike and how much does it weigh? Okay, so I will tell you that the bike is $999, and I'm gonna look up what they say for weight. The box we were just talking about said 34 kilograms gross weight, net weight 28 kilograms, but on the website they say that the weight is 64 pounds. And as Brian and I were talking about a little bit earlier, one of the things, yes, it's a folding bike, but 64 pounds is still a lot, to haul. Like, and that's why sometimes when people are looking at bikes like this, and we talked a little bit about the Rad Mini, the thing is, just because it can fold doesn't mean you should not buy it because you're not going to use the folding functionality. Like, one of the things that I really like about the Rad Mini, for instance, and this one I would say as well, is that typically some of these folding bikes are a little bit more accessible. Like, this bike looks like a lot of people, like, it doesn't look intimidating compared to some of the other electric bikes. Like, it doesn't have huge tires and like a huge high handlebar, like similar with the Rad Mini, like low step over height, smaller wheels. Like, people who are perhaps smaller are going to feel a little bit more comfortable, at least in my opinion. And when I test rode the Rad Mini, I kind of felt that it was, if you're on the shorter side, like, that's the bike in the Ram lineup that I recommend people consider, because I think a lot of people, they look at these bikes, they're like, oh, it looks great, they don't look at the weight, and then they get the bike and they're like, oh man, I can't even handle this.
Yeah.
And even if it's a smaller, even if it just weighs as much, but it's a smaller bike, like, it's gonna be lower to the ground, perhaps a little less top heavy. So
Yeah, there aren't a great many bikes that are around 1,000 electric bikes that are good. There's a few others.
yeah, like the Rydio, I just did a video, and I think you helped out with some of those too.
Yeah, well, it's on my commuter one that I haven't finished yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brian's working on some of the like our top list for top commuter bikes, top fat tire bikes. That's the one we already got done. Top folding bikes, and basically just covering some of our recommendations, and we try to focus on some of the more like reputable brands and brands that I have personal experience with riding, so I can give my kind of endorsement, I guess, if you will. So, but this is my first time on an electric bike, so, and the name is so confusing. Allie and my wife and I were talking about that. Like, it's interesting that they chose to go with the name Lectric, because if you're having a conversation with someone, be like, oh, what brand bike is that? Oh, it's electric. Yeah, and I know it's an electric bike.
Who's that first?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how often that happens. Maybe people disagree. Like, I don't know. They are a popular brand, so I guess it's working for them. But so let's see. Just looking.
Like if we had a Kleenex brand and you called it tissue without an E or something.
Yeah.
Tissue is that? Tissue.
And so just looking at some comments as I'm unboxing this, like the nice thing, fenders, like there's like metal, included again at $1,000, integrated front light, that's really nice.
Comes with a rack.
Comes with a rack, you can put some panniers on it.
A lot of them don't, you gotta buy it separate.
Yeah, in fact, one of the bikes that you'll see me reviewing in the future, I just bought it last night. Again, another one I had to buy, unfortunately, but I just wanted to do the review, is the Aventon Adventure, which you know about. So that bike's going to be coming, which I'm really excited for, and the reason you mentioned rear rack, so we actually bought the rear rack with it. So, and that was $49 extra, I think. So not like crazy, but
No.
all right. Let's see. We're getting some comments here. I'll read
Want me to
them.
read the comments while you,
Sure.
that way you can keep unboxing. Let's see. Oh, what size wheels they have? Luke asks.
What size wheels? Okay, so I'm pretty sure these are 20" by 3".
That's what I recall too. Yeah, because they weren't quite they're not quite full fat tire. You have to be, I think you have to be at least 4, maybe 3.5. You can still be considered a fat tire.
Yeah.
True fat tire.
I don't think there's an exact, here, I'm just trying to get it in the light so we can see. Yeah, 20" by 3", exactly what we saw. Bolton e-bikes recently was talking about fat tire bikes, so I think 4 inches and up.
That's what I think. Yeah. Well, when I look at like for winter trails, like they often require 4 inches or more,
Oh,
but
okay.
sometimes
I
they
didn't know
require 3.5. Yeah, because if you have a smaller one, you might actually sink through a little bit,
Yeah.
and so they don't want you to wreck the trails. All right, Wood Sculptor asks, do we know how many amps the controller is?
I do not know that.
I can look that up.
I don't even, you can try to look it up. I don't know if that'll be in their technical specs. One thing I just wanted to mention before we get to the next question is, my wife and I have been riding our Rad Wagon quite a lot, and if you follow Rad and you know about the Rad Wagon, they went down to 22" by 3" tires, so same width. We have definitely noticed increased comfort from those 22" by 3" wide tires compared to the 26" tires. We've been riding them at lower pressure, kind of by necessity, because we need it to put it in our Hollywood racks. But like, you can definitely feel like it is just far more comfortable. Is there any drag in the rear wheel when it spins, similar to something like engine braking? No. I mean, the motor weighs a little bit more, but I think you mentioned engine braking. So this is a geared hub motor, and so the direct drive motors, which for instance were on the old like Rad Wagon that we had, the 2018, and they're currently on the Rad City. Those are direct drive motors, which actually allow you to have regenerative braking, which is kind of what you're alluding to here. And everything that I've read, I mean, I haven't done any tried to get exact data, but everything I've read is, the increased range you get is very, very incremental. Like, it's not really significant, so it's not necessarily a reason to buy a bike. But we can spin the tire and when we get this set up, and you can take a look at it.
Yeah, so I don't think it has anything on the controller's amp, but the battery is a 9.6 amp, if that means anything.
Yeah, no, that's the
4 to 6 hour charge time. It's about 45 plus mile range. We'll test that out and see how it does.
45, I think, is a bit ambitious on this size battery. I feel like the 14 amp hour batteries you can get, we've gotten about that when you're in such a low pedal assist mode, but always with the range estimates on electric bikes, it's your mileage may vary, and quite significantly, depending on throttle usage and things like that. All right.
So John Wiegren, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. John Wiegren says, "Are you drinking a beer?"
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
We figured if we're gonna hang out and set up an electric bike, that's mine, I think.
Oops.
There we go.
Thanks. That one was good too. Which one did you get?
I think it's like some kind of berry.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's the
some
amber.
berry kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
amber.
From Breckenridge Brewery. No. Okay, so
Avalanche amber ale. There you go.
there's the handlebars.
Luke was wondering if we can mount 4-inch tires on there. I'm not seeing a lot of clearance.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
guess. I don't know.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's a great question for, I'm sure, and I haven't been a part of it because I haven't. This is the first electric bike that I've reviewed, but typically there's a Facebook group. So check out the Lectric owners Facebook group. That's a question that someone will have the answer just like that. So something to look for there. But if you have Rad Power Bikes question, there's a great forum.
Yeah.
RadOwners.com.
Who runs that?
Yeah. So I run the forum for Rad Power Bikes owners, and one of the reasons for that is because that's what we first owned, and I just find that Facebook is very frustrating to get search for answers, like it's not indexed by Google, so it can just be very frustrating.
It disappears into the ether.
Yes, and people don't search, and so having an actual forum is really nice. So one of the nice things, I mean, we took this out of the box, and it's got a nice little stand there, so when you fold it, you can see it sitting very nicely, and I think this is kind of where you could, I think if we put the handlebar up here like this, and pretend that the handlebars are there, you could wheel this around. We obviously have to put the actual handlebars on, which maybe I'll do now. So one of the awesome things, and I mean, I think we're almost done assembling this bike or unboxing it, is like, this is just so easy. Like, it comes fully assembled, and I had to put the handlebars up, which is just the folding mechanism, and I have to put this little quick release. This might be, oh, I think the screen is just about done. Yeah, and then I just have to put this quick release down, and I'm pretty sure the bike is good to go now. Pedals were installed. That's usually something you have to do. There are some brands like Ride One Up where you have to install the fork, which is a little bit more of time consuming. So I view that as a huge selling point for people who are maybe not comfortable. Like, just think if you buy a different electric bike and you're going to have it assembled. What's that? I think it's right. It's just a display. No, this just needs to be tilted up.
Oh,
I think they just do it for packing, yeah. Because when I undo it.
No, you want the. Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I see now.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're considering buying an electric bike, you got to factor in first you have to find someone to assemble it, and one of the nice things is I'm pretty sure most people can. So there's probably a nicer way to fold this, but I think I see a lot of people grab by the center here and then kind of kick it around with their other leg. So there's that step-through frame. And that just snaps right in place. And you can see the cranks are right here, right where that battery kind of ends. And so that's what I really like, because it just looks a little bit cleaner. And I think that they call this black, but it looks very blue, it's like a navy color. Flip the saddle around.
It does a little bit. Yeah,
It looks really nice, I think.
It's pretty cool.
And we should have a kickstand over here. There we go. That bike is assembled.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Look, it has a little number notch. So you can.
Oh yeah, so the height on the handlebars.
In case it drops down.
Yeah, makes it pretty accessible. Let's make sure that you can still see the bike in frame. I'm gonna move that display around. Let's see what other questions people have here. John says, wow, how many electric bikes do you have now? Too many. We're trying to clear out some. I have a couple for sale just here locally that we just, we can only ride, my wife and I can only ride one at a time. So there are some that I keep for future videos, or some I just want to keep because it's great for a baseline bike, like the Rad Mission, that really affordable electric bike. And so we keep some for different by the end of the year, or even end of fall. So we have a KBO Hurricane, a Ride One Up Roadster V2. Those are the single speed bikes. We have the Aerial Rider Rideal, which I recently reviewed, another $1,000 electric bike. I think incredible value. We have an Aerial Rider D-Class. That's our moped style electric bike. We sold our X-Class earlier this summer and decided to keep the D-Class. It's just a little bit more comfortable for my wife, and the dual motors are just awesome. We have a Rad Wagon. We have the Rad Wagon 4. We have the E-Spin Sport, which I unboxed last. And we have a Rad Mission. And we have the GT Power Performer, which I have to send back to them, hopefully soon, because I do want to get it out of the garage. And then I have another friend who's currently has our Unirow all-wheel drive bike, and that's kind of our winter bike, so I just don't really need it in the garage. So however many that is, I don't think I'm missing any. I think that's
So like 8 or 10 or
yeah,
something.
something like that. So too many. And then, you know, there'll be a couple more reviews for the remainder of the year. The Event and Adventure, which I'm really excited for. I should have a Rad Rover 6 Plus, which will be really exciting. And another one that I'm really hoping comes through is from a company called, I'm just going to tilt the camera up a little bit, from V-Volt. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, 100% correctly. All right, there we go. They have, it's a more premium electric bike, which I think it's important to test those out. It's like got the NVOLO, like automatic shifting, belt drive. Actually, I don't know if it's automatic shifting, but it's the CVT where you basically just like shift and then like it's not actually gears. It's pretty cool actually. That it's more similar to like the Harley Davidson Serial 1 electric bikes.
So Harley's making electric bikes.
Yeah, so they have their company Serial 1, which I got to ride when I was in Florida.
How was it?
It was awesome. They recently raised the prices though. I think their top model is maybe like $5,600 now. It used to be $5,000, but they're really nice. And I felt like at the old prices, it wasn't crazy what they were asking for, given like the components. I mean, it is like top of the line. Like you don't even have to worry about shifting. Like you can go into the app and like customize all your settings. It's real slick. And they do have like a single speed one that used to be like $33.99, but I think now it's more because a lot of companies are raising prices. In fact, when I was on Aventon's website last night, they said prices increasing September 1st. So this bracket, I was just being careful because actually on the Eastman bike, the bracket had cracked and they're sending me a new one, but this one seems pretty beefy.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about what goes into your decision to purchase a bike when you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Buy one for review versus, because sometimes they send them to you, but.
Yeah. I think generally like a lot of like some of the more popular brands, I mean it just kind of goes like, I feel like I need to check out Lectric XP given that it's $1,000 electric bike and they're hugely popular.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, was the price kind of a factor and the fact that it's pretty inexpensive as far as e-bikes go?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the reality is, you know, more people can afford the more affordable bikes. And it's harder for me to be able to review some of the more expensive ones. You know, it's not that I haven't, like I reviewed the Specialized Turbo Vado 5.0 when we were in Florida, and that was like a lot of fun. So those are fun to do, and I'm hoping like with the V-Volt company to test out some more premium ones. Even that GT Power Performer, that bike was like $2,400, but like compared when you look at specs, like it's not any faster. It just has the like really cool styling. Like that's the price that you get, or that the price plays into the fact that it's a super unique bike. So I'm gonna get this battery in here after I look here. Let's see what we have. I run 4-inch tires in the winter months, great traction. I'm sure you'll have better mileage with the 3-inch and better feel. Yeah, I like that they went with the 3-inch. I think it'll give some comfort, but then they're not super wide where you're losing some, you know, so much rolling resistance, and yeah, possibly run them low in winter and potentially be more okay than some bikes. I don't know, Luke, maybe you can share if what bike you're running the 4-inch tires. Okay.
It'd be a tight fit on here.
Yeah. Okay, miso honey. I'm assuming that's a username. Asks, how long did it take for your order to ship? So this is very interesting because some people have talked about like, oh, I just canceled an order through an electric bike company because like it wasn't shipping. So this was supposed to ship in 7 weeks, and I think when I looked it up, and I can give you the actual date, but I think it was closer to 10. But I felt like they did a pretty good job of saying, hey, it's delayed, this is when it's expected. And obviously it's not as big of a deal for me. I have other electric bikes to ride. So I was happy to kind of wait for this. But I ordered this bike on June 10th and it arrived today. So if you want to do the math, I think it was 9.5 or 10 weeks or 10 and some change days. So yeah, a few more weeks longer than anticipated, which, I mean, you're gonna see delays unless the company says it's in stock. In fact, on the Event and Adventure that I purchased last night, they said August 30th was the ship date. I'm assuming it's gonna be at least a week or two later than that they'll ship it, and I'm planning for that. And everyone should be doing the same if a company is giving estimates, because it's so hard for them to estimate. Paul asked, what beers are you drinking? All right, so this is the Breckenridge Brewery Mountain Beach. Bright and tart with pineapple, lime, and guava.
And this is the Breckenridge Brewery Avalanche Amber Ale.
What we should be drinking is some like Wausau.
We should have Wausau, well, at least Wisconsin beers, right? But,
Yeah.
We did have a lot of good breweries in our town.
Yeah.
And in the central Wisconsin area. So.
We'll plan.
I didn't know if you said like where you are in your.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
Now that you did, I guess.
we're in central Wisconsin.
The sea dubs.
Let's see. All right, let's get this battery. Maybe I can figure out a better way to fold. Okay,
Does it
so
come from the backside?
it should just slide in. I think it just slides right in there. So just
Like that?
yeah, why don't you just turn around so the camera can kind of see.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so he's gonna put it in that way. Should slide right in there. Again, we have not read the instruction manual. I think it's the other way.
It's the other way.
Yeah.
Because then this little thing goes
Yep.
in here.
Yeah. So the connectors go down. Boom. A little bit more. So you gotta fold it like what? Halfway, 90 degrees. All right.
Yep.
Look, so the battery can slide out.
Right. Doesn't really like lock in.
So you kind of want to probably like tilt it up.
I'm in the ways.
Yeah.
Oh, came on again.
So that's a little, I would say a little bit tricky, but if you're charging, if you're leaving the battery in there and not folding a lot, let's see. There we go. So I wouldn't say that's like incredibly easy, but doable, and I'm sure with practice, you know, it's better. All right,
So
cheers.
I guess we're kind of seeing like why the end function is so expensive, because it's engineered to be so.
Yeah.
It's engineered when you like flip the levers up, it just unfolds on its own.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little transformer.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the Brompton, if you guys aren't familiar, has like a front bag which holds the battery. So it like literally clips on there, so you can bring the bag in with you, and you have the battery, so you could like charge it. But like it doesn't have an LCD display, but it folds incredibly small. And there's actually, I think they have quite a lot of competition even in the lighters. There's like, I think it's Fido, FIIDO. They make folding electric bikes which are pretty darn light. Probably not engineered to the extent of Brompton. I mean, I think like Brompton like has their stamp of the person who like welds it, or I don't know, like they do a lot of like touches and like handmade type things to it.
It's been interesting writing about these bikes, because then I see how good their marketing is, like because I have to go to the websites to do the reviews, so then you know like an hour later after I'm writing, I might be on Facebook and I'll see like the bike I was reviewing pop up. I'm like, oh, you got the marketing tool, you got the Facebook pixel.
Yeah, they're definitely there's so much advertising. I feel like, okay, what am I doing wrong? We got the battery in, trying to hit the power button. Is there a switch? I wouldn't think so. Let's see. Maybe I should read the instruction manual. Wherever we put that. Here it is. Owner's manual. Does the bike seem overly heavy? What do you think, Brian?
Well, you know, it's I mean, it's not like a Brompton. You're not going to be just walking around with like
I mean,
a suitcase, right? But
Let's see. I'll lift it. So they have this nice bar here. That's probably where you would lift it. I mean, I can lift it, and it's pretty balanced. The front is a little bit heavier, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to carry it for a long period of time, but it is easier to carry than other electric bikes because, you know, it's just a little bit smaller, a little bit, center of gravity is a little bit down.
Yeah, I'd say it's light for an electric bike, right?
Yes, 64 pounds is still, if that's actually what it is, it's still fairly high. I feel like the lighter ones, like the, I think the Radial is like 52 pounds. I feel like the 50-pound range is like a mid-weight, and then anything like less than that would be.
But a fat bike though?
Yeah, fat bike, yeah. I mean, that definitely adds some weight to
They
it.
tend to be heavier.
Yeah. They have tips on folding and unfolding. Let's get some, actually, do you want to see if there's anything about powering it on while I answer these questions?
Sounds good.
All right, cheers to you, Paul. Thanks for joining us. Luke, I'm riding a Rad Runner Plus, planning on upgrading the motor in the future. Luke, did you already do the Bolton controller upgrade or the Electro Bike World one? I'm curious, that makes a huge difference, but then a motor, obviously. When you unfold the bike, when you unfold the bike, I'm assuming, does the battery lock into the frame or has a clip to hold it firmly, or is the battery loose inside the frame? It felt like it was loose, but maybe that was our problem, that it wasn't actually, we might have to,
far enough.
yeah, like maybe we didn't push it in far enough.
It says something about a pin. Is there a pin?
I don't know, let's see. The other thing is, we should mention, or at least I should mention, I am not a bike mechanic, so this is not a tutorial. And obviously we're kind of, like, I didn't do any research, or I mean, I did research on the bike, but like I didn't look up the install
It's different when
process.
you haven't had one. It's like your first time. You're gonna,
Yeah,
you gotta push that.
okay, there we go, it was unlocked. So that clip that's on there pretty good, so let's just pop this up. So I mean, the connectors are, it seems like, oh, you know what? I know what it is. I think you have to have the keys. Maybe? Because there's a lock.
It says fully insert the battery into the bike frame with the keys removed.
Okay.
At this time, the locking pin will be retracted.
Which is,
Is this the locking
I think
pin?
this is supposed to pop out and it's supposed to lock in place, but it's not. No, I think it's this for the battery.
Oh.
So I think this battery, when I put this in, this should pop out, but it's not.
I think you're right.
So I think that's why we were having so many issues with the, so we'll just show that here maybe. So there's a pin right here, and I'm guessing that should, if that's what it's talking about in the, but there's also keys, so, so there's gotta be we gotta be able to find the keyhole and then.
Can you lock it?
Like,
Can you lock it when it's in there?
I don't even know where let's see, where does the key, that's the charger port's on this side. Maybe you can see where the key goes. It should be obvious. I mean, I don't see. I mean, they give you keys for the bike, so obviously there has to be a way to. But if that pin is supposed to pop out in order for it to turn on or something. But should be able to figure out where the keys are supposed to go. Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom. Wow. Okay.
It looked like that's what they were showing, but
Oh, okay. So I guess when the,
that maybe will pop the pin out.
yeah, I'm guessing.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, there it goes.
So what happens is that pin is not a spring like I kind of thought it was. So you put the battery in, push it forward, hold it with one hand, take the keys, and then lock it into place. If I can get I should be able to get the key out of here though. There we go.
There we go.
All right, now I'm guessing the bike will turn on.
Hey, oh, for a second.
What different? Yeah. Maybe it's not charged. It would be odd, but
They usually come charged.
at least a little bit. can't imagine you have to ride with the key in. Okay, well, I don't know what this. So I turn the key slightly more, and that let me turn on the bike, but you can't remove the key? That would be kind of crazy if you
You just
have
gotta
to
ride
re-
around with the key hanging out?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not.
I hope that's not the case, but maybe.
Hmm.
Alright, let's see, maybe someone, anyway, that's how we figured it out so far. Alright, here we go. The key activates that battery lock. Alright, thanks Miso, and I believe it's under the frame. What's the top speed? Should be up to 28 miles per hour. That's what they advertise. We'll put that to the test when we do the video. That's one of the things that's like, is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, this is the most affordable class 3 electric bike if it actually does indeed get up to 28 miles per hour. Okay, Paul says you need the key installed. It is the case. Okay,
Wow.
and Luke confirmed. So I would say,
I
so
don't like that.
if you're not going to, I mean, you definitely only want like just the key. You don't want a key ring hanging from it. So you kind of, I guess you just leave the key in there, like just a key. But then it's like just, you know, kind of annoying if you want to. So I wish that was different.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Maybe not a huge deal on a $1,000 electric bike, but something to be. I mean, it's not a deal breaker for sure, at least in my opinion. The other thing, so thanks guys for submitting those questions, or letting us know that. The other just few comments as I'm looking around this electric bike, the cable management here is doesn't look super pretty, but at least they have them all wrapped, so they come down in kind of one group. But then because the battery is in the frame here, you have all this external cabling. So if you're looking at other electric bikes, that might not necessarily be the case. A lot of them have internally routed cables.
You're probably not gonna have, you wouldn't be able to have that on a folding bike.
Yeah,
that's kind of why you have those, is because they have to be durable to be able to fold.
But I feel like the Rad Mini step through has them integrated because they have the battery is external. So kind of pros and cons, this looks kind of sleek because the battery is hidden, but you have the external cabling. So I don't know, just something to be aware of if you're looking and comparing. I'm trying to call out things that I feel like people should, if they're comparing an this between the Rad Mini, things that kind of stand out.
Are the pedals smaller, or am I just used to using those big rock pedals?
I'd say they look about average.
Really?
Maybe slightly smaller than the Wellgo pedals, but if you're not going to fold this electric bike, these are probably pedals that I would consider replacing. I just like something with a little bit more grip.
They seem tiny to me.
They might be a little bit, but I've definitely seen smaller than
Yeah.
that if I'm folding ones.
They're barely the width of my foot.
And
But
then
this is a folding bike, so.
yeah,
But then the pedals fold anyway, so I don't know. They probably make them a little bigger, right?
yeah. Integrated front light. We talked about the rear light. Here's that suspension fork. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
push down on that and just see how it feels. It's locked now, open. So feels decent enough, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna help a little bit. I mean, I know the travel isn't huge just because it's like a miniature suspension
It's
fork.
like a 20-inch tire, so yeah.
Yeah.
I only have a little one, but
Yeah, I mean that's gonna soak up some bumps.
nice that you can easily lock it out too.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of road riding, you might not want that.
And this does have a minimum insertion point. Same thing when I tell people who are new to putting together an electric bike, minimum insertion. So this,
you should try not to with the camera so they can see that.
yeah, there's just a bunch of numbers here on the I guess stem, so I'll put it at its highest point and then I'll step over it so you guys can get a sense of how someone who's 6 feet tall will fit on this bike. All right, let's put this at its highest point. Actually, I thought that was maybe a short. Yeah, they kind of have the old school. I think that's gonna be plenty high for me, would be my guess. So I'm actually no, I think this is maybe right around where I want it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just looking at my feet, you can still get a leg extension. So yeah, the just something to consider. Like this is like the old school clamping, like seat. So I think you would be fine with a replacement one, but it's like that tapered design. I don't know exactly what they call that. You can get an enhanced comfort saddle, which is you were talking about bigger seats earlier. It's even bigger seat than this, and it gets a suspension seat post. But it's one of those like I feel like cheaper suspension seat posts that you can go on Amazon and buy for like $20 or $30. In my experience, I've tried one of those. At least I came on a bike, and I did not think it was worth it. I think they're charging $100 or $109 for the fancy seat and the seat post, and I was like, well, what you'd be better off doing is keep this saddle and just get the SR Sun Tour NCX suspension seat post, which is around that same price, and at least then you're getting, you're getting a quality suspension seat post. That's the one that my wife and I did a video last year early when I started doing YouTube videos on that. It's actually turned into one of our most popular videos, so you can check that out. It's also on our recommended accessories list, but there's other suspension seat posts that I've talked about. The other cool thing, I wonder if this rack has the Yep window. I wonder if our seat will fit on this. Maybe my wife can grab our Thule sheet. I'm just curious. I don't remember that being a thing, but we'll check that out. Sorry for the dog. Let's see, what else? The other thing I noticed, it's not like a quick release up front, so if you wanted to, I don't know, put it in your vehicle like just unfolded, that's going to be slightly annoying.
I suppose they probably went without that because it can fold it.
Yeah, I would assume so, but it's just, when you're doing maintenance or you have a flat tire, like you want to be able to pop the tires off. The rear tire or rear wheel is of course going to be frustrating because they always are axles. Yeah. But the front one on this one, like, would just be another step that you need to take.
I was gonna say I haven't had a bike without quick release.
Yeah.
Pops like that.
Well, and that's one of the main differentiators between a mid-drive is all those mid-drive bikes have quick releases or through axles front and back, and so flat isn't as big of a deal. But with this bike, it's trickier. Or any rear hub motor. So Allie has a seat here. I don't know if this fits. That'll be
so cool.
I don't know if it will. I don't remember this being advertised as a feature, but
Maybe not.
ooh, it's really. I don't think it is.
It looks like the middle piece would fit right in there too. But you have trouble getting it.
Yeah. Okay.
Shucks.
Yeah, it's too wide. The tires are too wide. If this bike had that, I guess it could be still that window, but I'm guessing that's for like other accessories. But it just
the rack like goes out like here. That's what keeps it.
But it looks super similar to the Yep window on our Radwagon. So anyway, let's see what other folks have to say. Is the bike made in China? Well, it's not made in the U.S. It's likely made in China or some other Asian company. I know.
You can see like the Chinese tires.
Yeah.
A lot of e-bikes, even if they have Chinese parts, a lot of times they go with like a Schwalbe or a Continental or what's the other one? Oh, Kenda. Kenda's really common, especially on the fat tires. But I see they have
Chaoyang.
Yeah.
Chaoyang. I've seen those. I think maybe even on the Lectric website they say your bike will either come with Chaoyang or maybe Kenda tires.
Oh, yeah.
But again, part of that, because I remember when you
were thinking that was weird, like, you'll get one or the other.
Yeah,
like,
but that's due to the parts craziness that's going on because they just can't get some of these parts or enough parts. And then I was just looking at the tread pattern a little bit. I mean, you can definitely take these off-road a bit. I wouldn't say they're like super knobby, but there's definitely some there, so you could.
Yeah, they're pretty shallow nubs, aren't they?
Yeah, at least in the center. On the outside, they get maybe a little bit. There's like one row that gets a little bit more. Looks like this bike has a front shock. Yep, maybe 30 to 60 millimeters travel. Yeah, we can look. Let's see. travel.
35 PSI, that's a little high from what I
You
know.
can probably run them lower than that would be my guess.
Hey guys, what do you run yours at? Fat bikes, I'm curious.
You can go down to like 5 on some of them.
I know like one of the ones, yeah, a lot of people run between 4 and 6 and like 4-inch fat
Yeah.
tires.
In fact, yeah. So right now this bike apparently ships within 3 weeks.
Wow.
And the Comfort Cargo Pack is $248. The Cargo Pack is $149. That's the one I got with the front rack, which will mount here, small basket, and the large basket for the rear. And then the Comfort Pack, the giant seat, they actually call it that, and the suspension seat both is $99. Or you can get both of them for $248, which is, if I was gonna look, they should have the suspension travel listed on here. Oh gosh, maybe they, I don't know if they do. So classification, it says class 2 bike on shipment limited to 20 miles per hour, but it can be changed to a class 3 via the display. So,
It's gotta plug her into the matrix, huh?
yeah. Yeah, so I guess they don't, there's gotta be a spec for the, I just can't find it for the suspension, but yeah, it's not large.
I'm guessing it's around 60, if that.
Yeah,
So
so,
even a lot of the ones I reviewed on, they were like 60 to 80. They're not like mountain bikes where they're 10, 100 or 120.
yeah. And someone asked again, is there enough clearance for 4-inch wide tires? I would hate to say yeah.
Very doubtful.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, maybe, but I would, like I had mentioned earlier, check out the Lectric Facebook group and ask that question. People will be able to answer that. I would assume the rims could handle that, but again, I don't know. And if you do find out, let me know in the comment section after this video actually goes live, because I would like to know, and I'd probably talk about that for folks that want to do so. But like I said, unless you're going to run like 4-inch tires all the time, like that would just be frustrating if you were like, oh, I'm going to go 3-inch in the summer, 4-inch in winter, just adds some time. So what do we have for derailleur? You said it's Shimano?
Shimano Tornado.
Yeah, so that's the very entry level, most entry level derailleur you can get. But again, it's sufficient. And to be honest, when my wife and I ride electric bikes, very like kind of similar setup with this kind of power, we're riding in the highest gear 90% of the time.
Shimano gear set too.
Yeah.
I don't know. The one thing the crankset just looks kind of cheap to me.
Yeah, it's nothing special. Pro wheel. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's $1,000 electric bike, so
That's what you're gonna get.
yeah. And
Well,
They-
it works, I guess.
they do have Tektro mechanical disc brakes, and actually I don't know if that. Well, I'll be curious what I think of these, but a lot of them come with the Tektro Aries, but these look slightly different. But they're still Tektro, so again, name brand. So you can see clearly they chose like, hey, let's go with the Shimano drivetrain, Tektro brake, mechanical brakes, but then like other things obviously just to hit the price point. I mean, smaller battery, which is probably due to the frame a little bit, but also
If I was gonna
the
cheap
price.
out, I'd cheap out on the crankset, because I mean, you get a single speed crankset, so you don't have to worry about shifting or anything. It'll probably hold up, I imagine.
Yeah. There's a warning label here that says this is a class 2 e-bike. Top assisted speed is 20 miles per hour, 500 watts. It is your responsibility to get informed and abide by state and local regulations. Riding an electric bike can result in serious injury or death. We knew that already. Always wear a helmet. So it's interesting because I feel like, like Rad has certainly gone like because they're such a large company and raised a bunch of money. I mean, I know and they are also the largest seller of e-bikes. Like you open their bikes and there's warning labels everywhere.
Yeah.
So like this is the first one though, or at least like on the frame where I feel like they're saying, hey, like you need to make sure you understand local laws, which is very tough because as I think about this a lot is that, well, the regulation is 750 watts, but they don't say whether it's nominal or peak power. And so like, Rad has taken the stance or at least I feel like they've taken the stance where it's 750 watt peak, and that's it, and you're not getting their motors to any more power unless you replace the controller. Whereas other companies are like, yeah, it's a 750 watt motor, but it peaks at like 1200 watts, so you can go a lot faster. So I don't know, regulation is just kind of a weird topic.
Which reminds me, was this a 500 or 750?
I think it says 500 watt
It says
on the.
500 in there, but is that if you don't max it up?
It says 500 watt,
It is
800 plus watt, or 800 watt plus peak. So like, what does that mean? Like, is it peaking at 800 watts or is it peaking at 900 watts? Like, I don't know if the display will say, but I'll be curious, especially when I unlock it, what speed it can kind of go. Luke asked if the brakes are hydraulic. Nope, these are mechanical disc brakes. In fact, you won't find hydraulic disc brakes until you get to like, at least on many models, until you hit, in fact, 1400-ish. The E-Spin bike is, I think, the most affordable bike that I'm aware of that has hydraulic, and that was one of the reasons, because it's like, one of the things that a lot of people would, at least I would wish that a bike did have, is like hydraulic disc brakes. If you're spending like $1,500, it's like, whoa, that's like a nice feature. Like, maybe I don't care about the shifter, I can deal with the lower end shifter, but if it has hydraulic disc brakes, that's kind of like something you can feel and you use a lot more than perhaps a derailleur. He also asked what size rotors. I think, let's see, these are 160s.
I think that's what I got on my mountain bike too.
Yeah.
Also have Tetra brakes on it.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna turn on the display quick. Actually, I see that I'm cutting you off a little bit, Brian.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Let me.
I can move that a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. I was just gonna look at the display quick. I think we went over the folding.
I was gonna say they didn't vote me off the island yet.
The display is nice and big.
Very bright.
Very bright.
Big and yeah.
I
Easy to see.
I'll be curious how you can see it during the day. There's 0 miles on it. Pedal assist, yeah. It's nice, like center display. I mean, it's just a monochrome display, and then it says energy bar, which is kind of a goofy like battery, like me. But then it has, I assume, 5 indicators, so it's down 1 bar, so it doesn't give you like a percentage. And then you have a right hand twist grip throttle, which, I think you, so again, one of the things that is something to be aware of, and probably more so for people who ride a lot of electric bikes, is this one you have to be in a pedal assist level in order to use the throttle. So I had to turn it into pedal assist 1 for the throttle to engage, which is fine. Like, some of the bikes have like the push button where it like won't engage until you push that button, but like that's kind of for some people that's a nice safety, so you don't like turn the bike on and then oops, you hit the throttle and you don't have the brake on or whatever. Yeah. So I think the other thing I've been talking about, and actually Brian helped on this article, like tips before you buy your electric bike, and I've been reading some comments from some folks that were saying like, oh, like my bike wasn't ready to ride like when I got it. Well, when you think about bike shops that receive a bike in a box, like they have to assemble it, and like it doesn't just come perfectly tuned, the derailleur's perfect, like they have to, so like you should expect the same when you receive any electric bike. That's why a lot of them will say you should take it to a professional, because like that can make for a very poor experience. You hop on it and you're like, oh, the gears are all messed up. Well, that's something that needs to be adjusted. You just can't expect a bike to be, just perfectly tuned when you get it. In fact, like typically when I ride, like get on an electric bike, I won't touch the brakes unless they're really bad, until I like wear them in just a little bit, bend the brakes, and then go ahead and adjust them. But like that E-Spin bike, I spent a half hour today, or maybe even a little bit more, getting the derailleur adjusted so that I could do my riding footage, and and get that review on it.
As I recall, the specialized bike, you had to have a bike shop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's so like the Specialized bike that I reviewed, they sent it to Remount Cycles, and so they had it. But I mean, part of that is like they want to assemble it so you like it's ready to go. Like it's it's a different experience of me reviewing a bike when a company sends it somewhere, gets it all tuned up, perfect. The gearing's perfect. You get the the true experience because like no one's gonna receive a Specialized electric bike in a box. Like you're gonna go and it's gonna be ready. So I mean that's obviously where some of the cost comes in when you're considering other electric bikes and things.
And Randy runs a good shop over there. I know he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Get it ready to ride.
Just looking. So odometer, trip A, voltage, which is interesting. I don't know if I've seen voltage on many, but then it says current. So let's. I'm curious. We're just gonna hit the throttle here. Oh, I don't know what the current is not just saying like 1.0. Okay, never mind. I was hoping I was gonna see like wattage or something.
Yes, there's current. No, there's current.
Yeah, I don't understand that. And then time,
It's at the time.
like your trip time. So, the levers are, I don't know, it looks like Star 5, I don't know. So they went with the brand name, actual brakes, but then the levers are like a generic-ish brand. The grips are not locking, but they feel decent enough. They're like, have the ergonomic little bit to it. The shifter is the Shimano index shifter, 7-speed. That's a thumb shifter. The trigger shifter ones are nicer, but again, like this bike is so affordable.
$1,000,
Yeah, it's tough. It's not missing the rear light. It has the rear light. Did you see it go on when I hit the? Let's see.
Do it again.
Hold the plus button. It does not. It's not engaged with the brakes though. And then the front light is on as well. And yeah, I think we'll wrap this up here in a few minutes. If you have any other questions, I'll wait just a little bit. But yeah, if you're looking to purchase an electric bike, I'm gonna put a link in the description after this video goes live. Really appreciate your support. I mean, it really helps us. I had to buy this bike, so it helps me continue to review other electric bikes. And yeah, there's also, if you go to ebikeescape.com, there's a link where you can save on e-bikes. That's the discount code page, the top e-bike brands page, which we kind of update with some of our favorite brands. And then, of course, the electric bike accessories list, which is the continuing project of just adding components that I see a lot of people purchase. Let's see. So I appreciate everyone
If you
joining.
guys haven't already, hit that like button.
Yeah.
Give Brian some help Brian with the algorithms.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I think that's any other comments about this bike that you see? I think we pretty much
Yeah,
covered
I think it's pretty cool. I can't wait to ride it, man.
Yeah, it should be fun. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you in the next
Thanks,
video.